Ladies and gentlemen, this game has 3 stages. A beginning, a middle, and an end. Now, the beginning is an early game sacrifice. We pick a power that's needed for the middle game, knowing that it's going to be weak against their composition at the start. In the middle, we focus on reducing their ability to fight and to earn cash. And at the end, we just decimate their team with insane damage output and aggression. So the enemy composition is Junker Queen, Soldier 76, Junkrat, Mercy, and Moira. And here's the thing, like, there's a few powers that are quite good against this comp. There's no Anna or Cassidy, so Chain Grasp would just be really, really strong. But against a Junker Queen, having Phantasm, getting Liquid Nitrogen is also really strong. And then their team composition has a lot of healing. Soldier 76 can put out a lot of heals as well. Junker Queen's got loads of self-sustain. Mercy Moira is loads and loads of healing. So rather than taking Chain Grasp in this game, I take Phantasm to start with. Now, I already know that picking this power is going to be a very tricky early game. Because we're never going to be able to get close to, like, Junker Queen. Sorry, not to Junker Queen. Obviously, we'll get close to Junker Queen. To Junkrat and Soldier 76. With a Moira, I mean, it's fine against them, but if they're taking another power like Cross Orbital or something, it's not that great. So I thought, look, we can go Phantasm. And usually there'd be an option to kind of go for a heal-based Phantasm at the start to generate some cash. But we've got a Winston. So are we really going to be following a Winston round and putting stationary orbs down? It's going to be a difficult start, but this is a very much needed ability for the mid game. So we're hoping, look, we just need to generate a bit of money with this. If we lose a round, that's fine. I already know that my end game build is going to be super strong. Just, we've already got a plan. So I'm going to start off trying to make use of Phantasm, but it's really difficult. As you can see, we can only really use it when the Junker Queen decides to push onto us. Getting up close and dropping those orbs doesn't really work. We can use it for heal orbs, but again, with a Winston, it's going to be a bit of a problem. So we want to try and get in close towards their team and then just fade out of there. Our team so far got reasonable objective control as our Brig's taking damage from Junker Queen. We want to try and pocket them here a little bit with that. Drop off an orb. That should put out a lot of damage. Can we get the Junker Queen down? No, the Mercy just about tagged them. And I think our Brig might have also been weak. Winston is weak as well. We try and put down a Phantasm orb for them there. It's tricky. There's a lot of damage coming out. And a lot of it is ranged as well. We just drop off what we was hoping was a damage orb, but actually our Phantasm was a heal orb, so it did nothing. And just, yeah, we went on the retreat. We got a player on the point, but that's probably just going to mean a stagger if they stick around and get themselves killed. So bounced orb flat off the wall. We've got to fade out of here though, so we're going to rotate around. We were going to support our Tracer, but again, we're not getting close to heal them that much. One of the advantages of going a kind of damage-based Phantasm build at the start here is that it does give Brig the opportunity to heal a lot. You think, oh, well, we're just leaving our Brig to do all the healing. That's bad, right? DPS more and all of that. But actually, in Stadium, there's cash generation that you've got to take into account. Brig might struggle, just as I will with Phantasm, to try and get damage out on them outside of whip shots and just slapping the Junker Queen, right? So the healing cash is probably even more important for Brig than it is for me. Because, yeah, they're going to need it. So our team's up to 30%. Right now there is a Junkrat very low. We see the trap there. We want to try and put some damage out on that. It takes Moira ages to kill a trap, like with just base stats. Now enemy Moira uses their Coalescence. We used ours as a finisher earlier on. But, I mean, we're already 27% to building the next one. Junker Queen ult goes in. That's our Cassidy taken down. Winston's there isolated. But we're going to go to the point. Just see if we can, pressure the soldier on there. But he's used his ult, so we're going to run away. And actually, now we're going to run all the way out as soon as the visor wears off. Oh. Having a little look. See if we can do something there. Oh, we got hit there. Now we're running all the way out. Yeah, okay, same way. The mini wasn't there. Around the corner just to get out of view. It's not good enough, though. Junker Queen does take us down. Enemy team 80% capped. It's going to be very, very difficult for us to get back in here. Tracer might be able to, and Winston went all the way back to spawn. It's all on the Tracer, surely. If they even go for it. Winston trying to get there in time. Okay, Tracer did get the touch. Let's see if we can get a heal orb out there just to support our tank. Junker Queen going low, but Mercy's going to tag that. That little pillar in the center, Junker Queen's using it very, very well. Just surviving with that natural cover. As we're point blank on a Junkrat. Try and keep our Brig alive here. We've got Phantasm heal orb, which we use to create a zone. Damage orb comes in from Moira, so we're going to double stack our heal orbs, but Junkrat spam behind us. Not really spam, they were just shooting us at point blank range. And our team, by the looks of things, cleared up here. Round 1 lost. We got 13k cash, which is pretty decent considering the power that we picked at the start. But enemy team, yeah, I mean, their Mercy on nearly 17k. It's fine because the build that we've got is gonna, it doesn't matter if Mercy gets tons and tons of healing. You'll see. So going in round 2, it is a very open map, so we've got lots of options to take weapon power related stuff. We could go for something like Vitality Amplifier and Energized Bracers, which gives us a decent amount of AP and some good survival. Phantasmic Flux is also another option. Alternatively, we can go straight for a debuff. So do we think that the Junker Queen's gap closing ability is tricky for our team to play against? And I just saw that the soldier was on heal station, and that makes it so much more tricky because I really want to shut down the Junker Queen, just prevent her from being able to just walk all over onto our Brig and put pressure there. Cybervenom just makes more sense, and I don't want I want liquid nitrogen. We want to use the Phantasm to slow. But look, at the end of the day, they've got a lot of healing. Mercy did make a lot of money. Moira's on cross orbals, Soldier on the heal station build. Junker Queen's got self-sustain. It makes sense. Now, the downside of Phantasm is, Phantasm and getting Cybervenom early is that we don't have a lot of ability power, which means we can fall short on cash. But Cybervenom really takes away money from the enemy healers as well. So if they're doing lots of healing, we're just going to reduce their income. So we want to set that up so that the supports are a little bit broke, ready for a max damage build later on. So anything that we can do to reduce their income, considering they earned quite a lot from the last round, Cybervenom's going to help that. It will sacrifice our own income, but we actually don't need that much. So flat bounce the orb, well, kind of. It's going to bounce off at an angle, but it's a very convenient angle. As Mercy, we see her low health, take her down. Moira's also kind of low here. We're going to drop off our Phantasm damage orb. It looks like the Junkrat and Moira do get taken down. Junker Queen there pushing into the little room. We're just going to move the bot. Fire the damage orb, which tags a soldier that runs by. It was aimed at the Junker Queen. That's very convenient, as Winston gets the credit for those kills. And our team in the lead now, pushing the robot. Fire a little damage orb up over to the Junkrat. Cybervenom will be applied for a brief period. And to be honest, I'm happy with Payload duty right now because I know that this round and the next round's all going to be about debuffs. So as long as I can afford like liquid nitrogen or something, possibly smart orbs depending on the map, then I'm happy to do the Payload duty. Otherwise, Moira is quite item dependent. So I would recommend to players not to really stick on the bot. Let somebody else go on there. Because there's some heroes which scale really well with power and some which scale with item, and Moira is definitely an item one. So Coalescence used. We're getting some nice kills with our Cassidy and Winston linking up. Just trying to get damage on that soldier. The Cybervenom there applied from Coalescence really helping. We've used our Fade, so no Phantasm will appear to stop the Junker Queen, and Mercy does escape. Gonna try and get the Mercy down as she flies up into the sky. Quick heal over onto our Tracer. Winston's probably going to go down here though, but we're making so much progress. Gonna flat bounce the orb round the back there so that it bounces down, and because we're in Fade we don't get hit by the Junker Queen ult. This is a tricky one. There is a oh no, the tire's already been detonated. We can fade back with the Brig, but I'd rather just fade off the map because I think there's a chance they'll be able to chase us down. You know, after Fade, if we get hit by an axe, then we're just kind of done. So also make sure you're liking the video, guys. Enemy team now going to be pushing forward with the bot. They're getting their first meters now. As our Trace gets a big kill over onto Moira. Res taken up now, which means we can start pushing forward, knowing any kills are going to count. Junkrat. I hate that there's two of those heroes with similar names. Junkrat pooping us up in the air as now we get that damage out combined with Brig. Pushing the bot now. They've only got 6 seconds left. Just let's get some healing, which we kind of missed because I was focused elsewhere with my vision. But either way, Enemy team not able to get to the bot. We're 1k cash in the lead. If you look at the enemies healing there, Mercy and Moira on 3.4 and 3.2, I think the Cybervenom really paid off there. We still put out quite a decent amount of damage, but that's two big healers that really weren't doing too much. And so that's allowed us to catch up and, well, even overtake in cash. So, if I pick Cybervenom, if I pick Liquid Nitrogen, 9 times out of 10, I'm picking Multiball. It's pretty much the only use case for Multiball, since the side orbs don't do anything. But what they do is apply debuffs. So, we're going to be going into this round. We also, since we got the cash, I could go get, like, sell some of the greens and get smart orbs or something like that. But we need the extra ability power. The ability life steal really helps because we're not getting that from anywhere else. And then just getting some of the green survivals is also, you know, pretty good. I can't remember if we took first aid kit and running shoes or something. I can't remember exactly what we took. But you can have a look. Either way, they're not that important. They're just kind of filler items. Maybe even been an adrenaline shot, you know. Nah, I don't think I'd waste... Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Go check. You've got a rewind button. I don't. Right. So we're going to see... Apparently I'm not checking the builds. Just jumping around. That's unusual. I'd normally check, like, the enemy builds or something. But I guess we just don't care. So, fire the damage orbs over onto the enemy team. That's a lot of Cybervenom applied. Winston jumping in, very aggressive though. We drop off Phantasm Orb on where they're likely to run. There's Winston very low, gets hit by an axe as well. Junker Queen pushing. Liquid Nitrogen is going to help out there. It does make it a lot more difficult for her to walk forward for those swings. So now, enemy team clustered here. Huge orbs. That's Phantasm. We bounce the flat orbs as well. Everybody's low. Everyone's debuffed. They can't escape with Liquid Nitrogen as Winston comes in and cleans them all up. That was a huge combination play from our team, which is going to allow us to start making our initial payload movements. So I'm looking where to flat bounce an orb, and I'm remembering, hang on, if I've got the side orbs, I want to stand slightly to the left there. Just heal up that orb damage coming from Moira. Walk forward. Okay, so we drop off the Phantasm Orb. Bounce a couple of multi-balls. Healer Cassidy. Now that soldier up top's getting really annoying. Yeah, I wanted to debuff them here because I was hoping that Winston could survive a little bit longer. And if there's already players weak and they're getting healing, then that would do it. I don't think a heal orb's going to save them against multiple players. I'd rather apply the debuffs and hope we can equalize that. So, nearly got stuck in a junk rat trap there. We're going to use our Coalescence. Enemy Moira's distracted by our Tracer, so we're just going to easily finish her off. Because now we push up top to the soldier, fire the orbs the wrong way, but it's alright, they're a bit sticky. Now we attack the soldier, but I don't want to just tunnel vision on them. Cassidy took them down anyway. And now, yeah, this is looking good. We're making good objective progress. Enemy team's in a lot of trouble here. Mercy trying to escape. They're in a tiny little room. There's so much stuff we could do in that little room. Monkey going in. AoE damage. Pulse bomb as well. Phantasm orbs. Junker Queen burning the ult off there. I mean, surely we're going to get this round. I mean, never say never when it comes to these payload races, because the end part of the map is, yeah, kind of key. But we're pushing up to their spawn. Going to drop a Phantasm Orb. Well, it was going to be around the Mega, but nobody was actually shooting me there. Now, Tracer gets taken down. We flat bounce some orbs, but they're not chasing that direction. Another Phantasm Orb will go over and take the Mega, except we don't need it. So we'll save that for now. Junkrat Ty comes in, hits the Winston. We're not going to get the healing on that. Well, not with my sensitivity anyway. Sorry, Winston, but I think they were dead anyway. Let's fade through, get a nice cluster of orbs come in there as many of them jump up in the air. Soldier gets taken down in his ult. Enemy team contesting our objective here. Flat bounce the orbs off of the back. We're just going to jump off the map here because, yeah, we've already faded through. We've dropped off the orbs. Let's not give them the cash or credit for the kill. It allows us to regroup with our teammates a little bit faster. Going to be spawning at the same time as our Cassidy, I believe. Now, the question is here. So, the better choice is to go here, because we can have more players on here, but at this point, we've lost a lot of players. And it's like, they're not moving the objective right now. Let's see how long it takes them to actually move it. And I think Winston's maybe thinking the same thing. Should they go over to there or not? And I'm like, all of the rest of my team's going to our payload to push it. I'm going to stop whoever this one person is or two people who's pushing it. I've got an ult. We're stopping it from moving here. And it's kind of unfortunate that the Winston goes here. There is an argument that I shouldn't even be here if there's two players on there. And in retrospect, I think that's probably true. But we've got an idea here that let's just stop them from moving, kill the isolated players, and then we'll go push it. At least that's my way of thinking. But knowing that they've got to, you know, come and contest ours, we might be able to have better fights there. But either way, then currently not moving it. But the problem is, again, our team dying. This is... So we go back to the cart to block it from moving. Junkrat's here. It would be really nice to win that 1v1. Except we don't. And now our team's dead on the payload again. Unable to get them off of here. And enemy team is moving it. So this has gone from what looked like an easy round win to potentially catastrophic as players are staggering out. I mean, we've got a fair amount of survival with Tank and Tracer, you know, blinking around. Try and heal our Winston up with some rare heal orbs. They've got it to the end section now. That's a heal orb, so we're not going to even get the debuffs on them. Because now we fire our orbs, but we can't push out against that visor. Push through the middle here because there's a bubble, but the bubble's now taken down. We've got our fade, we've used that. Enemy team making huge progress. They're this big cluster that we kind of need to group, and I think we played that quite badly. I think I played it quite badly. But I do also believe with what the team's saying that the team... Like, the tank especially needs to be one of them pushing over there. I'm okay with kind of isolating, taking the duel and then firing the debuffs towards the point. But I think our tank needed to make a different decision. And then with overtime, I'm 99% sure that players can be on either cart to keep the overtime working. Because I have seen it where the enemy teams just sat on R1 and they didn't send anybody over to their one and overtime wasn't running out, and I think they can do exactly the same thing. Can they actually? It may be that you just have to be on the enemy ones. Yeah, either way. Whatever. Right, going into round 4. Now, because we're on multi-ball, Phantasmic Flux is going to give us a ton of extra sustain when we're firing out our damage orbs, which, you know, we're pretty much exclusively firing out damage orbs. We are very squishy, so we're going to be relying on getting some of that Phantasmic Flux overhealth up before we move in close for the Phantasm Orbs. Although, if nobody's looking at us, we will be able to kind of walk forward using some natural cover, drop them off there, and then fade back. And then that ability lifesteal is going to help get us back up to full health again. There is an argument to go Lumerico instead of Phantasmic Flux, because then you are going to already get some base health. Every time you fade or orb, you're going to get that armor self-sustain. And yeah, it's there is an argument for it. I think, though, Phantasmic Flux with that overhealth, the idea is poke a bit from range and then hopefully be able to go in with some of that overhealth. So, fire our orbs across. Winston jumps in very aggressive, though. We're not very strong at healing here, but we do have that liquid nitrogen still, which is going to make it a bit more tricky for the Junker Queen to chase down players, as they just found out there. So now we can flat bounce some orbs through. As their team's retreating, they should all get debuffs here. They'll bounce around all over the place. Mercy's taken down, Soldier's taken down. We're going to jump forward, get that angle for the multi-ball, fire that through and take down the Junkrat. Now our team, yeah, some of them pushing ahead a little bit, but we are going to cap this out. Again, just some poking orbs there. It generates a bit of cash for us. It generates it for both players, but you know, at the end of the day, we want our cash up. Now, so many players all debuffed and clustered up there. Here's the Junker Queen trying to push. We want some debuffs on her as well. That will do with the liquid nitrogen. It makes it so much trickier for her to move. Look at that. Liquid nitrogen is still very, very strong. It's especially strong against any heroes that already have, well, get some additional movement. If it's just their base movement speed, it's not as strong, but yeah. So, team over onto the point. Can we bring the score up to 2-2? Junker Queen's pushing through. Brig Rally comes in as well. We've got Coalescence waiting for the opportunity to use it. Gonna fire off our orbs. Now pop it here. It's gonna get some healing over onto our team, but also apply these slows, debuffs. And yeah, I mean, enemy team's rotating well. I think our Cassidy survives that. Damage orb to try and zone off the Moira. Junker Queen slowed, unable to get close to the Cassidy. Mercy flies up into the sky. We take her out, and round is won. 2-2 the score.
Let's have a look at our MVPs.
Now, we're in the late game phase. We've focused on getting our debuffs out there, getting a bit of survival in there as well. How are we going to complement this? So we could get a ton of extra AP. But no, we're going for Chain Grasp. And here's the thing. You don't need the ability power for the debuffs. Phantasmic Flux gives us some weapon power. So that's going to work nicely with Chain Grasp. We can straight up get Weapon Jammer. And that's going to give us a bit of survival. Also, plus 20 damage stats, also reducing the attack speed of somebody else. And I thought, you know what, we could just get Frenzy Amplify. We got quite a few eliminations, and we're getting eliminations with the orbs. Maybe that's just going to give us a nice enough attack speed boost. It is a bit risky because each time, like some rounds, you just don't get that many eliminations and you don't get to use it. But it is a huge spike of attack speed. So with Multiball, we're going to get eliminations. And then it's like, actually, on this map, we don't even need smart orbs because we want our orbs to fly through and debuff several people. We don't just want Junker Queen to absorb all of them. So it's like, if we sell that, we've got options, right? We could get the gadget. We could get Techno Leech, give us a bit more life, a bit more attack speed. Advanced Nanobiotics, I mean, that works as well, right? Every time that we're grasping on players, if we apply heal over times to people, we're going to be getting a nice attack speed boost. Now, it would have been Shield Buster, but the enemy team just really doesn't have much armor. Like, if any at all. Same with the shields. Like, look at that. You've got Soldier, and then everybody else has basically just Lumerico. I think Advanced Nanobiotics is probably the safer choice. You lose out on 5% attack speed, but it's more reliable when you're going to have the plus 10. So, round 5 underway. Junkrat spamming into the room. We're going to fade through aggressively. Chain Grasp on a huge number of players. Our tank gets taken down. Do take down enemy Moira. Junker Queen here. We can apply the debuffs to her. It didn't actually apply. She just jumped out. But hey, look, we've got another 3 orbs on the way. Soldier 76 debuffed as well. Mercy just about gets round the corner. Does get taken down by the Cassidy. I didn't know that until after I'd faded around and saw she wasn't there. We do clean up the enemy team. As we push the spawn, we'll just try and make sure that players are alive. And we're going for a sneaky Chain Grasp burst damage attack. Oh, it's not going to be enough, so we're just going to fade back early. We could just judge by the Junkrat's health that we weren't getting them down there, but we were hoping for the burst. Damage orbs coming in as well. We can do the same thing here, fade back. Not going to chance it for too long. Like, we're happy to take a bit of damage, but if the enemy team keeps missing us, eventually they're all just going to hit. More Chain Grasp damage, but Soldiers on the flank. Tracer cleaning up there a couple of players. So we can fire our orbs in there as well. Just that slows Junker Queen. She might not be able to get to spawn. Maybe with her commanding shout she can though. And then back we go again. 50% already taken. Enemy team is really struggling, and we've got a Coalescence, which is still useful. Especially when we've got Advanced Antibiotics giving us some speed. Frenzy Amplifier is also going to help. Every time we get an elimination, it's going to help with our Coalescence as well. Plus the ability power also helps as Moira's just about getting to the spawn. Junker Queen also, it's kind of amazing that they survived that, but we'll drop off an orb just to delay them again. And we want to keep poking with these damage orbs because every time we can slow players, it's just that little bit harder for somebody to get in and touch the point. Mercy uses an ult, so I want to already back all the way off because I'm anticipating that she's going to try and fly over to the point. We heard some footsteps, just making sure. And yeah, completely shut them down there with, there's just too much burst damage and too many debuffs. And this build is fantastic in terms of putting out the damage numbers, but also contributing some utility to your team. You're like this debuffer damage Moira. Your healing is terrible, and it just will be. But in terms of the damage output and the pressure that we can put on one of these big sustain comps, it's unmatched. So we've got 11k here, Frenzy Amplifier gone. We could also get rid of Advanced Antibiotics. Sometimes I would sell that just to have a look at the money. Booster Jets. I've fallen out of love with this item. Like, quite recently. It's weapon power based builds have been working with precarious potency, and generally some of the weapon power items seem to work a little bit better, even though attack speed is better for Moira. But in this case, because we've built quite a lot of ability power, booster jets is actually going to be really good for the attack speed, and also apply some yeah, extra damage on our coalescence. Another option could have been alternative energy. In my head, I hate that item when I really shouldn't. So that one gives 15% attack speed and 10 ability power. I think it's that way around. Yeah, but the problem that and the reason why I always hate that item is because it doesn't give me any extra health. But then neither does booster jets, and I would have basically got plus 20% stat, 25% stats instead of plus 20 and movement speed. But still, I think booster jets probably is the safer and better option here, since we're trying to use chain grasp for the majority of our damage, and the orbs are simply for debuffs at this point. Like AoE debuffs that kind of hang around, annoy them, and then we just, yeah, full damage based build just with chain grasp. And this should be enough. Like, we won't do crazy damage, but the debuffs, again, it works for our team. So trying to slow the Junker Queen down. I was hoping the Winston could escape, but I think they got pulled by an axe and then swung on. Junker Queen couldn't even hit us there because we were she was too slowed. So now we're going to utilize this high ground kind of advantage as we bounce orbs here. Of course, we failed the little jump after the end of that fade. Junker Queen looked like she was pushing us, but turned around to go for the brig. There's one hit on us. It didn't really do that much damage. Drop off the Phantasm Orb to block our retreat, but we're going to use Coalescence. Can we get the Junker Queen down? She wasn't taking that much damage, so we focused the Mercy, but she got taken down anyway. There's now Junkrat. We gets taken out as well. Mercy res the Junker Queen, and this is awkward because the bot's on that side of a tank and a support, and I mean, I can't really fight this head on. I can keep putting relentless pressure, but we're not really killing any of them here. And yeah, that's really awkward because that should have been our time to get the bot over towards the checkpoint, but instead we just haven't moved it, and there's only 1:25 left in this game. If we want to win this round, we really need that checkpoint. So I'm happy to sit back, even though my damage is now substantial. I'm happy to sit back and make sure that this bot is moving because it's so important that it does. Soldier in the sky takes down. Visor was also used as now we put pressure over onto the Junkrat. He boops us up in the air. We're going to change target. Tyra is coming in. We fade that. Jump across. Junkrat is taken down by our flanking Tracer. Now we see the Mercy and Soldier. Mercy flying away. Oh, she's going for the Mega. Can we get her in time? We do. I think she dies anyway because the Tracer and Winston were also there, but yeah, this is looking really good. We get it to the checkpoint finally. 44 seconds remaining, so we're going to keep up that chain grasp damage. Watch out for those Junkrat nades. We're not going to risk standing there too long. Coalescence should hopefully zone them back and prevent them from going to the bot, but we're not moving the bot. Our team should be making progress here. Come on, somebody take the initiative. This is shocking. We could actually lose this game. That time after the checkpoint is the most key because the checkpoint gives a pause, and if the enemy team get it there, that's the amount of room we'd have to play with. Junker Queen ults in. We're going to try and use the bus high ground just to make sure that it's more difficult for her to swing on us, but it does put us out in the open. As now, without a tank, this is going to be tricky. We're going to get loads of orbs. We've got decent sustain. We've got decent health as well. Junker Queen. Oh, rally comes in from the brig. Bit of pressure out on them. We've got to watch those flanks, though. Orbs in there. We kind of get stuck with our fade, so we live here now. Junkrat. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, we're attacking the Junkrat. It's looking really good for us right now. Phantasm Orb debuffs. In fact, they've got 2 healers and a Junker Queen. That's a whole lot of sustain. We really need to flat bounce these orbs because they hit more and more players. It's not the best orb throw, but I mean, right now it may even be advantageous to let them push the bot a little bit so that the spawns aren't as close. But I mean, it looks like we're cleaning up here. Junker Queen very, very low. With that Winston, we bounce the orbs for any follow-up that's coming in. Stuck in a trap, but GG. The game is 141k damage. That chain grasp debuff mass orb combo is just super strong. It's like really strong. The damage output that we put is, yeah, crazy. And that's against a team that has a lot of healing. So that's a build that I'm definitely going to be running more often. Guys, hope you enjoyed the video. That's the text from the thumbnail right there. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one. GG.